I never thought twice about handing my house keys to my sister, Aisha. She was blood, the kind of sister who used to braid my hair before school, steal my sweaters but bring me tea when I was sick. She'd made mistakes, sure, but we all do, and despite everything, I trusted her more than anyone else in the world. So when I had to leave town for a sudden work emergency, a 2-week corporate audit overseas, I didn't hesitate. I called her up and said, "Can you stay at my place while I'm gone? Just to keep it lived in." She'd laughed. "Of course, I'll water your plants and feed that moody cat of yours." I smiled. "Don't let him bully you. Me, please. I'm the queen now." It was a joke then. A light-hearted line that didn't mean anything, or so I thought. The morning I left, I made sure the fridge was stocked, the bills paid, and everything spotless. My home wasn't a mansion, but it was mine, bought with 10 years of overtime, missed vacations, and a dozen sacrifices no one ever saw. A cozy 2-bedroom with a garden I poured my soul into. I hugged Aisha tightly at the door. "Just don't throw any wild parties," I teased. She grinned. No promises. We both laughed. The plane ride was long, and my schedule was punishing. Meetings ran until midnight, and I barely had time to think. Still, I checked in with her every evening. At first, her texts were quick and cheerful. "Fed Mr. Meow. He hates me face with tears of joy. Watered your fern. It's still dramatic lol. Your couch is comfier than mine. I might just never leave face with tears of joy." But around day 4, her responses stopped. I brushed it off. Maybe she was busy or had her phone on silent. A day passed, then another, then 3. I sent a few more messages, tried calling, nothing. That gnawing feeling started creeping in. The one where your gut knows something your heart refuses to accept. I called our neighbor, Mrs. Glenn, a retired schoolteacher who liked to sit on her porch and watch the world go by. She answered on the second ring. "Oh, hello dear, are you back yet?" "No, not yet," I replied, just checking in. "Everything all right at the house?" There was a pause. "Well, I didn't want to say anything, but your sister's been entertaining quite a bit. Several people coming and going. Loud music, too. Last night there were at least 10 of them, and they were drinking out front." My stomach dropped. "I see," I said slowly. "Thanks for letting me know." As I hung up, a message popped up on my phone from a different number. It was a photo. My heart stopped. There was my living room, my space with my furniture shoved aside, strangers lounging on my couch, and a giant speaker in the corner. Aisha sat in the middle of it all, laughing, a red plastic cup in hand. She had even moved my paintings off the walls and replaced them with her own posters. Something shifted inside me, not anger, not yet, just something quiet and cold. I texted her again, "We need to talk, call me." No response. Not that day, not the next, and just like that, the woman I had trusted with everything vanished into silence while living inside the house I built from the ground up. But I wasn't angry, not yet, because I was already planning my return, and I wouldn't be knocking. By the time I landed back in the country, it had been 9 days since I last heard from Aisha. 9 days of unanswered calls, messages left on read, and growing silence. I didn't announce my return. I didn't even go straight home. I checked into a small hotel in the next town over, heart pounding with a mix of dread and disbelief. I needed to see it for myself before I confronted her. Maybe there was a reasonable explanation. Maybe the photo was a one-off. Maybe she was going through something. That's what I kept telling myself. I drove by the house late in the evening. What I saw crushed me. My porch light was replaced with a gaudy purple one. Aisha's beat-up hatchback was parked in my driveway, along with 2 others I didn't recognize. The curtains were open. My mistake, and I could see shadows moving inside. Music thumped low, and the living room, once minimalist and calm, looked like a dorm room exploded inside it. My paintings were gone. The shelves I'd curated with travel mementos, photographs, and books, emptied and replaced with scented candles, Bluetooth speakers, and her clutter. Even the doormat was different. She had replaced it with one that read, "Welcome to my crib," smiling face with sunglasses. I parked around the corner and just sat there, trembling not with rage, but grief. She hadn't just stayed at my place, she had moved in. A part of me wanted to march up to the door right then and rip the house back out of her hands. But I didn't, not yet, because something was off. It wasn't just the takeover. It was how calculated it felt. This wasn't spontaneous. This was a plan. I pulled out my phone and went back through her old messages. Clues began to connect. Subtle comments she made weeks ago about how nice it must be to live alone. How some people get lucky. And you don't even use the guest room. It's just wasted space. She had been planting the idea long before I left, and I, idiot that I was, handed her the keys. I called a locksmith and scheduled a visit for the next day silently, discreetly. Then I contacted my security system company. Even though the cameras were disabled from inside, I had backups. Cloud-based logs, and as I watched some of the recorded footage, my stomach turned. 2 days after I left, she started bringing boxes in. By the 4th day, she had her own bedding on my bed. By the 5th, she was giving house tours. I recognized none of the faces. Just her standing in my hallway like a landlord showing off her bathroom. The final blow came that night. I received another text from Mrs. Glenn, a new photo. Aisha had taken down the nameplate next to my doorbell and replaced it with a cheap, tacky gold sticker that read, "The Aisha Palace Kiss Mark." I laughed, a dry, bitter sound, and that was when the anger finally came sharp and clean. I didn't call her. I didn't warn her. Instead, I sent one message, "Enjoy it while you can." She didn't reply, but the next morning I called someone. Not the police, not yet. I called Evan, a childhood friend, now a lawyer, who owed me a favor. "I need a formal letter of eviction," I said calmly. "She's squatting illegally. She was supposed to be house-sitting. You have proof, plenty," he sighed. "Okay, I'll have it drafted by tonight. Want me to serve it?" "No," I said, "not yet. I had something else planned." Because I knew Aisha. She wasn't afraid of rules. She was afraid of something else entirely, the past. There were secrets hidden in that house, secrets she thought I didn't know. And the moment they came knocking, she'd panic. It had been 3 full days since I returned to town, 3 days of silence from me and delusion from her. While Aisha played queen in my house, I played ghost in the background, watching, listening, preparing. The eviction papers were sitting in the passenger seat of my car, but I didn't deliver them yet. I wanted her to feel the shift, that creeping sense of something being off. I wanted her to notice the silence and start wondering, why hasn't she called? Why hasn't she come back? I wanted the knock to come first, and that night it did. It was just after 9:30 p.m. Inside, laughter, a party again. I imagined the same crowd of hollow-eyed freeloaders, drinks in hand, music turned up just enough to annoy the neighbors but not call the cops. Aisha never did know where the line was, only how to dance on top of it. Then a sharp, hard knock at the door. 3 times, not loud but deliberate. The music paused, not turned off, just stopped mid-song. Through the curtain I could see it. Silence rippling across the room like a dropped glass. Aisha walked to the door slowly, barefoot, wine glass in hand. She hesitated, looked through the peephole. And that's when I saw it, her face. Her entire expression drained like someone had cut the power. Her hand trembled slightly. She set the wine glass down, called something over her shoulder, a name I didn't recognize. Then she unlocked the door, only opened it a crack. I couldn't hear the words, but I didn't need to. The body language said enough. She looked, cornered. I watched from across the street, inside Evan's car, hidden by the dark. "Who do you think it is?" Evan asked. I stared, lips pressed tight. Someone from her past, I murmured. Someone who shouldn't know where she is. Because here's the thing about Aisha, she always played innocent. But she carried shadows behind her smile. I knew pieces of them, the fallout with an old roommate, a mysterious lawsuit she never explained, money that vanished from our mother's account just before she passed. And now whoever was at that door was part of it. The man only stayed for a minute. Then he handed her something, a small envelope, and walked away. No threats, no yelling, just quiet, cold business. Aisha closed the door slowly. When she turned back to the room, her friends were watching her. One of them asked something. She didn't answer, just tore open the envelope. Even from here, I saw her mouth the word, no. Then she crumpled the paper in her hand and sat down hard on the armrest, staring blankly ahead. The party ended minutes later. People shuffled out quickly, awkwardly. No goodbyes, no music, just uncomfortable glances as they passed her, now stone-faced and quiet. She didn't walk them out. She just sat there, the crumpled paper clenched in her fist. I waited until the last car pulled away. Then I stepped out of Evan's vehicle and walked toward my house calmly, deliberately. Before I knocked, I looked at the welcome mat beneath my feet. Still said, "Welcome to my crib," smiling face with sunglasses. I smiled coldly, then knocked twice. Hard, a pause, then footsteps. The door creaked open. She stared at me like she'd seen a ghost. "Hey, sis," I said, voice smooth and quiet. "We need to talk." Aisha stood in the doorway like a statue, hand still gripping the knob, her face drained of all color. You're back," she stammered. I stepped forward without waiting for an invitation. "My house, my rules." "I never really left," I said quietly, brushing past her. The living room was unrecognizable. My art, my books, my quiet, all gone. Candles, tapestries, and mismatched pillows filled every space like some budget influencers' chaos den. My chest tightened, but I didn't let the emotion show. Behind me, Aisha shut the door slowly, like she wasn't sure if I was real or if the walls would start crumbling around her. "You weren't supposed to come back yet," she said finally, her voice trying to reassemble its confidence. I turned. "Yeah, you weren't supposed to move in either." She looked away. I walked further into the house, taking it all in. Not just the mess, but the audacity. She hadn't just taken over, she tried to erase me. "I didn't move in," she said sharply. "I was just staying longer. You weren't using it, and that makes it yours." She folded her arms. "I didn't think you'd mind." I laughed, bitter, quiet. "Really? You didn't think I'd mind that you changed the locks, threw out my things, and told the neighbors you owned this house?" Silence. Her eyes darted toward the hallway, where the crumpled envelope from earlier still sat on the floor. I followed her gaze. "Who was at the door earlier, Aisha?" I asked, calm, cold, a calculated blade. "No one. Try again." She looked caught like a child about to be punished. "Just someone I used to know. Used to know or owe." Her jaw clenched. "You've always had a gift for lying," I said, stepping toward her, "but not today." I pulled the eviction notice from my bag and laid it on the kitchen counter. Her eyes widened. "What is that?" "Your check-out date," I said, like it was the most normal thing in the world. "You have 48 hours to leave," she stormed over. "You can't do this. I'm your sister." "And I was your sister," I said evenly. "Before you betrayed me, before you tried to steal from me." Her voice shook. "I didn't steal anything, didn't you?" I said sharply, stepping in close. "You took my house, you trashed it, you lied to the neighbors, you disabled my cameras, you ignored me for over a week. And don't think I don't know about the money you took from Mom before she passed." Her lips parted in stunned silence. "Yeah, I knew. I'd kept that card hidden for years. But tonight? Tonight was about balance. I never," she started. "You don't have to explain it to me." I interrupted. Explain it to the man who came to the door earlier. I'm guessing he's the one you owe. Gambling, loan, something darker, doesn't matter. You used this house to hide, and now your hiding place is gone. Her eyes welled up, but I didn't flinch. I needed this, she whispered. I just needed a break. So did I, for 10 years, while I worked for every single tile in this house, while you floated from couch to couch, blaming everyone else. She blinked hard. The mask was slipping. You've got 48 hours, I said, my voice like a scalpel. Then I changed the locks again. She looked like she might beg. For a second, I almost braced for it. The old Aisha would have dropped the pride and cried, said all the right words to make me hesitate. But not this time. She nodded slowly, finally understanding that I wasn't bluffing. I walked toward the door, stopped, looked back one last time. Oh, I said, and if you even think about taking anything that isn't yours when you leave. I pulled out my phone and tapped the screen. A live feed popped up. The cameras were back online. I'll be watching. Then I opened the door, stepped outside, and left her standing in the wreckage she made of my home and of our trust. The sweet part of revenge, it isn't the yelling. It's the silence that follows when they realize you were never as soft as they thought.